This is an October update of my 112 gallon average reef. Things for the most part are doing well. Rearranged a few things. I did lose one of my new additions. It was a bleached millipora frag that really didn't look too great when I bought it, but I thought it would bounce back. And unfortunately it did RTN, but the other new pieces I have are all doing well, and as are my existing corals and fish. Let's take a closer look at the tank. The big thing I have done is collect most of the Kenya tree frags. I've placed them all on the rock in the corner. Unfortunately, the frags don't have the nice blue base like the main colony has, but since I got nowhere else to put them, I've stuck them all here for now. You can see they're just on little frag plugs or rock rubble. I didn't actually glue them to the rock work, since maybe one day I'll actually get rid of them or start a frag tank at least again. This side here is basically completely covered. All the zoos and pallies are doing well. The mushrooms, these guys are starting to get a little bubbly, not quite bounce, but they do have some bubbles, which is kind of interesting. And then I have my mixture of mushrooms here. This yellow-tailed chromium will get out of the way. And they've basically covered the rock here. I should probably frag this big one here, as there are actually zoos underneath it. And they're creeping down to here too. Further up the rock, it's also basically completely covered. This is one of the new frags I got earlier last month. It's doing quite well. You can see it's got great polyp extension. Now we'll look at my Placillipora, which constantly touches that neon toadstool. I've actually adjusted that rock a few times, and I even moved some corals off that rock so they wouldn't touch, but somehow they always find a way. Unrelated to them touching, the mother colony is starting to split. You can just barely see a hole in the top there. So what's going to happen is the portion towards the right is going to split off, and it will float around the tank until I glue it to something. Here you can see another one of the mini colonies, and then I have two more here. When I first got this coral, the frag I purchased was probably 1/10 the size of this piece here. Here you can see I've moved my neon, it's either a Sinulera or a Nephthya, I'm not sure. And I've got it right beside the Kenya tree mother colony, which unfortunately doesn't get any bigger than this. But it's a nice contrast, and I really like them together like this. I moved the rocks here so these mushrooms are actually on different rocks, but in just a couple of weeks they've grown over to the point where it all looks like this is one solid rock and one solid coral. This bird's nest is another new piece. The top pieces are noticeably bigger since when I got it. I did, of course, lose a little bit of it to this chalice, which stung it out. In the middle of the night, its tentacles extend quite big, but I moved it back, so it should be okay for now, at least for a few months. My Duncans here have really grown. There's tons of new polyps. Side view is one of my favorite views. Everything else is pretty much doing well. I do have a firefish that's been in quarantine now for a little bit over 5 weeks, and in just a few days I'll be adding him to this tank, at which time I'll make another video of my quarantine procedures. One other piece that was not really noticeable before is this giant cabbage coral. It's not actually new. I used to keep it in the corner, and it was basically covered in those Kenya tree frags and not getting enough light or flow, so it was all closed up. Since I had the empty rock here, I stuck it here for now, even though I'm not overly fond of this coral. It does, however, have nice green neon polyps, neon green polyps, So there's a chance it might color up a little more, we'll see. For now it's okay there. When I get something better, I'll stick it somewhere else. The Dendrophilia are all doing well. There's a lot of medium-sized polyps you can't see because the main three are so big and puffy. Rhizo is doing well as always. And I also want to mention that this clownfish I've now had for 11 years, or maybe just under. It was October 2006 when I purchased a pair. I did lose one, but this female is still going strong, and it's probably one of the oldest naked clownfish at the time, or I was just starting to breed them. So yeah, that's where things stand now. I still do have some room on this side for some more corals. I'm not sure when I'll be getting new stuff. If you've been watching my videos, you know I'm way out in the middle of nowhere, so who knows. That's about it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and happy reefing.